So you can think of this as very much an optional extra, but the more context we give the AI, the better the results are going to be, the more personalized we make it. So let's see how far we can push this. So rather than use a job title and say, I don't know, I'm a digital marketing manager, give Claude the context about what you do, what you think, what your mission is. Essentially, there are some examples on the screen. What's your version of that? And then what problems do you see in the world? What are you trying to solve? Dan Sullivan, who I mentioned earlier from Strategic Coach, has this lovely line of, who do you want to be a hero to? That's your market. How do you want to be a hero to them? What is the stuff that you do? What do you believe? What are the problems you see? One of my mentors had this lovely line of, obvious to you, amazing to others. That's always stuck with me because so often I would say, but that's just obvious. Like everybody knows that. Surely everybody knows that. I had the same sort of imposter syndrome putting this course together, or putting the brain together. It's just a bunch of markdown files. Surely anybody can do that. And once you see behind the scenes and you understand how it's all built and how to put those things together, then hopefully it does become somewhat obvious. But many people have reminded me that it wasn't obvious to know to do that in the first place. I guess I got to it through, the millions of podcasts that I listened to and playing and experimenting and having the luxury and the privilege, frankly, of the time to be able to do that. Anyway, tangent. Obvious to you, amazing to others. What is that stuff that is obvious to you? What are the assumptions that you are making? What lens do you look at the world through? Let Claude know about that. Let it know what you're good at too. I've also told Claude what I'm bad at, but strengths and weaknesses. What are your capabilities? How then can we look through that lens? And when it's making suggestions or you're asking it to summarize an email newsletter or a YouTube transcript or podcast that you've heard, it can help filter that through your lens, meet you where you are, and it understands the stuff that you're working on. It understands where you want to get better. It understands what you're curious about. The more context you give it, it's kind of a little unnerving at times in terms of just how personalized that can get. But that's because we've given it the context. It makes it so much more useful when we do that. So teach it about the stuff that you know. If you like to get examples in a particular way, if you're a parent, you'll understand this. You give your teach stuff to your kids using metaphors and analogies and examples that they get, that they understand, depending on how old they are, depending on what they know, because you have that context, and so you make it more relevant to them. This is kind of the same. We're just helping Claude give us more relevant stuff, and say whatever you like in there. No one else is going to see it. Claude's not going to judge you. It's just a piece of silicon somewhere in Silicon Valley. Like, it's just be as honest as you dare in there. And then you can either add this to your existing personal profile. That's completely fine. Or you can create a new document for this. I call it activation profile. You can call it whatever you like. But essentially, you're telling it more about your mission, what you believe, your vision, what you're trying to accomplish in the world. The more you do it, the more it's going to help. That's it for this context engineering section. In the next section, I want to start to talk about this incredible thing called skills. I think this is the thing that you want to focus on in 2026. I've been saying this for a few months now, since sort of the end of Q3 2025. Skills are the thing. MCPs are useful. Subagents are nice. I think a year and a half ago, I was talking about agents all the time, hence build the agent, own the agent, and so on. But I really think that skills are the skill to learn. It is the most efficient way to get tons of use out of AI. Most businesses want to be more effective and more efficient. You and your career want the same thing. This is the way to do it. So this Swiss Army knife called skills. Let's cover that in the next section.